question I have is about the flood. Mr. President, I come from an area where every 6 months my people are displaced, and I believe several other communities. And so it has happened so often that we need to have a permanent solution to the flooding that occurs regularly. And so, Mr. President, with your kind permission, may I present this motion? The Senate notes the recurring annual flood in Nigeria, especially arising from the release of water in Ladon Dam in Cameroon. This has caused avoidable loss of lives in many communities along River Niger Benue Trunk. Notes further that these perennial flood disasters have also resulted in colossal loss of property and livelihood, with NEMA estimating the loss at an average of 2.6 trillion naira from year 2012. Floods alone and money spent has gone in the neighborhood of 600 million for every community that this has occurred. And so money which could have built several dams to curb these menace has not been properly utilized. The Senate is aware that the attendant loss of lives and livelihood from avoidable floods has led to dislocation and loss of future direction for the impacted families. The Senate is also aware that these flood disasters have worsened the crisis of internally displaced persons. Concerned that these perennial floods have over the years caused widespread and irreparable damage to the various ecosystems along the impacted areas, with some floral and faunal loss forever, and also introduced several strange vegetation that not only show the native flora but are usually difficult to control. The Senate is therefore concerned also that these floods have over the years resulted in permanent devastation of vast stretches of land nationwide. The Senate is concerned further that there are indications that the flood are implicated in the emergence of strange illnesses and diseases, resulting in an unknown medical condition that have defined and could defy available medical intervention. The Senate accordingly resolved to urge federal government to convene a stakeholders meeting to x-ray this recurring situation with a view to proffering a lasting solution to flood disasters. Urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to revisit the proposed construction of Daisy Hausa Dam and any other smaller dams as the case may be. The Senate commends NEMA, PCFR, and other relevant agencies and organizations and individuals whose efforts in creating awareness has led to reduction of casualty to a minimal level. Mr. President, for some of us that come from riverine area, it's always a nightmare that every 6 months you have to look for where to accommodate your people. Lives are lost, properties are lost, but most importantly is that it appears we develop amnesia each time the flood comes and goes away. And we appear to know what the solution is and where the problem comes from. We're always told it's from Cameroon, the dams are open and the water comes in. I think we need to have a permanent solution to this issue. Thank you, Mr. President. I wish my colleague would support this motion.
Senator Bintamasi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Senator Stella on the issue of the Lagdo Dam, which has not only ravaged the ecosystem of our dear country, but the destruction that has affected the people living within the riverine area. Adamawa State is a victim of the Lagdo Dam. Even this season, the government of